Say hello to my friends. I thought I would take you on a quick walkthrough of full garden tour. Just 8 years ago, in 2012, I planted my very first garden ever. It was a 4-foot by 4-foot square foot garden, and it was when we still lived in a suburb of Los Angeles. And I didn't really have much success with that, and it's been a long journey to where we are now, living on our homestead, growing and raising a lot of our own food. Look at this. 25 feet by 75 feet of a garden that's just going bonkers. It's amazing. Last month when I took you on a tour of my garden, I only had this section, the west third of it, planted. Now the whole thing is planted out and things are starting to grow. It's really looking good. So there's my yellow bike with a flower basket by my double doors. The doors are kind of heavy and leaning back. I'm going to put an arch behind them, so when you open it and walk through it, you'll be walking through an arch of something, but I haven't done that yet. Let's go on in and take a look. Okay. So right now we would be standing inside an archway. As you look to the left, I have a double arch trellis here, a single one that's set out, and then another double arch one. And I'm going to put another double arch right here, and then the one that I'm in. So that's that. Let's go look at what we've got over here. So we've got Moon and Stars watermelon. I had some watermelon planted here and they died, so I just filled in with some tomatoes. I had extra. At every T-post spot, I've got pole beans coming up. Some of them are Kentucky Wonder, and then some are called Rosetta's beans. So a white bean and a green bean. That cantaloupe is looking pretty bad, but we'll see if it makes it. Spaghetti squash. I want to say cantaloupe, spaghetti squash, and then pole beans, but man, something is eating most of that. Can you see it? Here's the few little plants that I still have left that just came out of the house. I need to get them in the ground, hopefully. All right, on this arch, we've got cantaloupe, watermelon, cucumber from my friend. I planted a ton of cucumbers and I thought none of them came up. Well, first, what happened first? I transplanted, I don't even remember. Anyway, I planted a bunch, none came up, and then my friend gave me 2. So watermelon there, doing pretty good. Just recently planted watermelon, spaghetti squash, cucumber. That's another one my friend gave me. Cantaloupe. I could put something else in the middle. I wonder why I don't have anything there. And then once again, pole beans at every T-post. All right, so we leave the arches, and I'll have more over here. I also am going to have a seating area under one of these arches. And in the fall, I'm going to plant, what do you call them? Like cool things like lettuce and carrots and things. So once these vine up and they make shade, then I'll plant cool season crops in lick tubs under the arches. All right, so we come over here and we've got a pole bean teepee, a second pole bean teepee. Here we have 2 big Max pumpkins and 2 striped cushaw squash, which look like a butternut, but they're bigger and they're striped. And then we turn to the right and we have a row of zucchini and a row of yellow squash, maybe the other way around, I forget. Anyway, 4 of each. No, zucchini, yellow squash. And then we come around and look at this. What do we have here? We've got a curved cattle panel. That's right, it has a curve. On the outside of it, we have bell peppers. I think these are the yellow bell peppers. Yep. And on the inside, we have some tomatoes. And look, as we come around, it's a little hidden entrance. What is this? What is this? Is there a second curved? There sure is. look at that. That just makes my heart happy. I've got this little hidden kind of curvy shape garden here. So this is more tomatoes and then different peppers on the outside. I want to say green bell peppers. Yes, green bell peppers. And then 2 mystery squashes that I didn't have labeled, so I just planted them. Over here I've got a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, so like a normal sized pumpkin. And that kind of takes you through this whole middle section of the garden. All right, as we come across here, this is weeds steeping in water. I'm making like a compost tea to water with to get the nutrients out. Any weeds that can be fed to the rabbits or pigs, I do that. If they can't, they get soaked in there before they go somewhere else for disposal. So I get the nutrients out, use that for watering, and later we can plant in them, whatever. My little gnome. Say hello to my friends. Hi, friends. He needs a name. What do you guys want to name him? All right, here we've got a big comfrey. So here's where my yellow squash and zucchini were, right? And then one of my yellow squash actually just died. So I've got to replace that with something. Here we have red bell peppers and then lemon squash and butternut squash. Butternut squash is my favorite squash, but I've heard people talk about lemon squash and I've never had it. So I've got, I think, 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. There. And we're coming in to another area of planting, and I've got 3 Big Macs pumpkins right there. And then I'm kind of really happy with this. I made a little pole bean teepee here and here, and those are like, they're gonna mark the entranceway to the back part of the garden because the path goes right between them. So here we go. I've been doing some weeding. All of that looked like this morning. And oh, let's walk over here and look at this before we transition. So I've got another comfrey here, and I'm also making comfrey tea, like I'm doing the weed tea. And then I've got some strawberries. No strawberry fruit yet, but the strawberry plants are looking pretty good. So 1, 2, 3 strawberries. All right, let's come back around. Oh, and then remember how I said that I had cucumber, or that I planted cucumber and none came up? Well, looky here. There's one, and here's one. And I planted, I want to say, I need to cut that off. I don't want you to kill out the cucumber. I'll fix that in a second. So this plastic is just down so that I can kill off more weeds that look like this before putting down some more weed fabric. All right, now we've got the bed garden. So I've got 6 beds here. Cauliflower and lettuces and kale in this one. A couple of strawberries came up in that bed, so I'm letting them grow. I planted like 62 came up. But I added in some zucchini and yellow squash that I had extra. I might come back and plant some more things in there as well. We'll just see how that goes. And then in this bed, we have dun, 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 broccoli. And this guy's ready for me to break him off and eat him. And then he should spread out more. So that's what Liz told me, is that if I take this top one and break it off, then it'll grow more. So I'm going to do that. So we've got broccoli, onions, kale here. And here we've got radishes and carrots, badly in need of thinning. This bed has Swiss chard, carrots, spinach that's probably ready to bolt, so I need to probably harvest the rest of it, and beetroot in the back. And then my onions, which will soon be ready to harvest also. My first crop of onions, interplanted with lettuces and maybe some kale in there too, or maybe just lettuce. All right, and then along this trellis, which I didn't weed this side yet, I obviously need to, kale, which is ready to harvest, and my peas, which are doing pretty good here. Quite happy with them. And it looks like we're gonna have some ready to harvest pretty soon. So I'm gonna have to look and see how to know when these are ready. These are shelling peas, not snow peas, so you don't eat them in the pod. But they're looking good and they're pretty full. I planted 70 something, no, like 170 something peas along this trellis, and I ended up with, I think, 4. So I gotta figure that out. Kale, lettuces, that's pretty much it. Needs weeding for sure. All right, and then as we move back over here, along this fence, we've got potatoes all along there and all along the back. So lots more weeding to be done, but it's coming along. That's it. Only a few more summer crops to get in the ground. Then I can take a little breath, but not too long of a rest, because pretty soon I'm going to be planting for a fall harvest. Thanks for going on this tour of my garden with me. What did you guys think? And what should I name that gnome? Thanks for watching. I hope you had a great weekend.